Hello dear students of class 5. Let us continue whatever we were doing in the previous class. We have just started the chapter 8 and the topic was digging for treasure. The author was Edith Nesbeth. And we are half of the story. Let us recap what we have done in the previous class or in the video. As we have just stopped where Albert was buried. He was fully covered with the mud. How? For that you have to recall. Okay, 6 siblings, that they were all in the trouble as they were poor. Their mother was no longer with them because she died, and father was having problem with his business. As these children were not able to go to school because as father was not in such condition. Father could not help them. So in order to tackle with the problem, they decided to seek for the treasure. And as they were looking for the treasure, because they found the parchment and the concealment, okay, when the documents where it was written that treasure was hidden somewhere in the garden. And they started to look for the garden, and in the meantime the neighborhood, from the neighborhood, their friend Albert interrupted, and he also was convinced to help them to seek for the treasure, as Albert agreed. And as they were in the process of looking for the treasure, it was a chance, or it was a turn that Albert need to dig a tunnel. Okay, so all of a sudden the ground gives away, that falls and cover Albert. So till now we came to know that among the 6 siblings, the first character is Alice, Oswald and Dickie. Dickie is a third character that we came to know among the 6, and she was sent to Albert's uncle for the help. Okay? Now let's start where we have stopped. So Dickie was sent to bring Albert's uncle to come and help dig him out. Presently, Dickie returned with Albert's uncle, who had come armed with a large spade. So Dickie, as she was sent, she came back with Albert's uncle, and Albert's uncle was fully prepared. Okay, he was armed. Armed here means it's a equipment that was brought, that was spade in order to dig. Okay, this promises to me to be a protracted task, he said, looking at the hole with Albert's head in it, and started to dig. So, seeing the condition how Albert was buried, Albert's uncle said that this task is going to be very long one, because he has to dig. He has to dig and dig, because it's a long process, he says. After a while, wiping his face with a handkerchief, he said, "Digging is a hot work, and my curiosity is excited. How did Albert get buried?" Oh, I have left that here. The word protracted means it's a longer than the expected, isn't expected or usual, because the task is going to be a longer as expected. Okay, and in the meantime, uncle is asking, he says, digging is a hot work, because obviously when you start working, your body gets heated. And in the meantime, he says, I'm also curious to know, how did Albert get there? How is that possible that he is buried by mud? So, to that, Dora replied, "We were digging for treasure." Dora said, "Uncle, we were looking for treasure." And towards that again, Alice added, "I think we were near the passage that leads to the secret hoard when the tunnel fell in on Albert," Alice said. Okay, so when Dora replied, "We were looking for the treasure," and Alice added to that, I think we were near to that treasure, because as we were digging the tunnel, that all of a sudden ground fell. So I think we were near to the treasure, Alice said. Your hoard means hidden supply or fund. Here we can use as hidden treasure. So, and soon Albert was dug out, dusty and covered with mud. He looked funny, obviously. A normal look, and the shabby looks funny, no? His face was marred with earth and streaked with crying. So as he was lying down, he was crying. As we know that mud was falling on, when he cried, all the mud was stuck on wherever the tears were rolling down. Okay, so here the streaked means tears from stripes on the faces when he was crying because of the mud. Okay, though his face was covered with mud. When he cried, it was like a streams. Okay, like streaks. The streams all the lines was formed on his face. And we apologized to him, but he did not reply, because he's already now, he's not in a sense, because he finally got saved by his uncle. So I think he may be thanking God, and he had nothing to say, because finally he is back to his life. So you were digging for treasure, said the Albert's uncle, wiping his face yet again with the handkerchief. So after the task was over, he's asking to the children, and he's saying, so you all people were looking for treasure. Then well, I fear that your chances of success are very slim, because it is not possible. I have made a careful study of a whole subject, and I never knew more than one coin buried in any garden. So he's saying it is not possible, because after knowing a subject, that is, you are looking for treasure, I don't think you are going to get a single coin. Okay? In the meantime, hello, what's that? Albert's uncle said. He pointed at something shining in the hole he had just dragged the Albert out of it. So he was doubting. It is not possible, children. Nowadays we don't get anything such as coin or treasure. So looking at a subject, I don't think it's possible to get a treasure. So as he just dragged out the Alberts, and from there he saw a shining thing that was shining, and he pointed out, hello, what's there? Then Oswald picked it up. It was half a crown. He looked at each other, speechless with surprise and delight. So as Albert's uncle was explaining that in these days, it's not possible to get any treasure. In the meantime, something was shining, and out of the surprise, they came to know that was a half a crown. Okay, that was picked by the Oswald. That was a half a crown, and everybody was surprised. Half a crown is a former British coin, which is equivalent to 2 shillings and 6 pence. Okay, so it is a former British coin. And then out of the delight, they were happy. And Albert uncle said, well, that is a 5 pence for each of you. Then, okay, now you got a half a crown. Now everybody among the 6, everybody is going to get 5. He said 5 pence for each of you among the 6. Then, no, it is 4 pence and something, said Dickie. There are 7 of us, you see. Okay, to that Dickie, to the Albert's uncle, okay, you all got 5 a crown. Now everybody, you 6 children are going to get 5 pence for each. Okay, then Dickie said, no, we are going to get 4 points, or we can say we are going to get 4 pence or something. Okay, among not 6, among 7, because Albert was added. And oh, you counted Albert also, one of yourself. Albert uncle said, replied to this Dickie. Then, of course, he was buried after all, said Alice. Why shouldn't we let him have the odd something and we'll have a 4 pence each? So when you divide this one, half a crown among the 6, okay, among the 6, so what they are going to get? You are going to get 4 pence or 4 pence and something. But when you divide into 7, then this what is? Alice said, why don't you take 4 pence and leave the odd one to Albert, because he's the one who sacrifices. He had sacrificed his life, because after all he also helped, and after all what happened? The consequence, he got buried. Let us take 4 pence and let us give the odd to the Albert. This was what their plan. Here the 5 pence means is a British coin which is equaling 5/100ths of a pound sterling. Okay, the pence, 5 pence. So when this was said that Albert is going to get a 4 plus all the odd ones, okay, all the remaining, that Albert cheered up at this. Okay, he was very happy that finally is going to get the share, and he's going to get more than as he has expected. His uncle whipped his face again and began to put on his coat. Then he stopped and picked something. It was another half crown. See how lucky. As they already decided this is how they were going to give a share. In the meantime, when the conversation was over, when they were about to return, and as uncle saw another half crown. Okay, he found already one half crown is there, and they are going to get a share of 4 pence each. Okay, remaining excluding the odd ones, which is going to be they were planning to give to Albert. Another half a crown, they got it. And to think that there should be 2, he said, in all my experience of buried treasure, I never heard of such a thing. So it is a kind of surprise remark by Albert's uncle. Okay, he said that to think that there should be 2, in all my experience of buried treasure, I have heard of such a thing. So it's a kind of a luck, depends on luck. Okay, and then one of the narrator, which I have said, among the 6, one is narrating the story, but the identity. Okay, we don't know who is the narrator. Here the author has not given us the chance to know the narrator, and the narrator towards the end is narrating that I wish Albert's uncle would come treasure hunting with us regularly, because if Albert's uncle is going to come regularly with us, there is a chance of getting more and more treasure. So he has a very sharp eyes, for Dora says she was looking at the very spot where the second coin was picked up from, and she never saw it. The treasure was actually, the treasure seekers were the children, but while reading the story, we came to know that they found the treasure not by themselves. They found the treasure with the help of Albert's uncle. Okay, and Dora is saying that she wished. Okay, the narrator is wishing that always we would love to have a company of Albert's uncle, because we are going to get more and more treasure. And and Dora also explained, saying that it was this very spot which she was looking from the beginning, or from every time she was looking that spot, but she did not see the coin. It was only Albert's uncle. So my dear children, this is the story that is about the 6 six siblings, and we came to know that finally they found their treasure.